Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review. In this video, I continue to build the Agora models Jaguar Etype. Now, I am on Pack 2. Pack 2 came in the other day, and this time we get to work on build the doors and a little bit of the interior. So if you haven't done so already, head over to agoramodels.com and subscribe to this car today. Do it today, that way you can follow along as I build. I'm going to be building these from now on, and I'm very excited to do it. While you're there, you're going to have to download the instructions, and it's readily available. You can download those, have them available on your iPad or on your even on your phone while you build this series. So without further ado, let's get started. And here's everything we completed in Pack 1, which was the 3.8 liter XK Jaguar S-Type engine. And that's fantastic, super detailed. I really enjoyed building it. We also received the steering wheel, and we did do some assembly on that too. Let's get started on Pack 2. Welcome back. Here's the box for Pack 2 that I received in the mail all the way from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it came in a soft wrapped package, so the box is very sturdy here, and the new style, they say. And this is the Jaguar E-Type pack number 2. So let me go ahead and open this up here real quick, and you can see all the parts are neatly packaged in here separately. All the stages are separately packed, and we have stage 8 through stage 15. So I will be building all these stages in this video. So stay tuned for that. Let me pull these stages out of the box here, and I'll be right back and we'll highlight them all. Here's packs 8 through 11. So this is 8 right here, and this would be the driver's door and handle. Pack 9 is the window mechanism for the driver's door, and that's all the parts there. 10 is assembling the driver's door and interior trim, and 11 would be the passenger door. And I'll be back and I will show you these in detail in a little bit. Let's look at the other packs. And here's packs 12 through 15. So 12 also gives us the passenger door window mechanism parts. 13 is a passenger door interior trim. 14 is the seat back to the seat. And 15 would be the seat cushion and the spare tire, it looks like here. So let me get pack 8 out, and we'll give a detailed close-up look at that, and we'll get started. Here's stage 8, driver's door and handle. I'll take these out and we'll get a closer look. There's a close-up of the parts, and this is obviously the driver's door. Very nice finish on that. That Jaguar red. Loving that. Here's the back side. Of course, this is made of metal. And then we also received the door handle for this, and that's plastic. And 2 AG04 screws. Let's get started. So for stage 8, all we do is we install the door handle onto the door, and of course they give us 2 AG04 screws. One is a spare. You would want to go ahead and save that. You never know, you might need to use it in the future. And what I do is I go ahead and put them in a pill box that I purchased from my Amazon store. I put a link in the description below, and you can find that there. Mount it to the door. There we go. Got the handle in there real good there, like that. And go ahead and put the screw into it. And don't over tighten it. Stop when it gets tight. There you go. And that looks good right there. And that's all we do for stage 8. Very easy to do. Let's look at stage 9. Welcome back. Here's a parts pack for stage 9. I have a lot of parts in here, so let me take these out and we'll get a closer look. Here's a close-up of the parts. The only part that's metal is the door hinge itself, which is nicely painted the same color as the car. And the window itself is protected in this bubble contraption here. And let me take this out real quick, and there you go. Better view of that. I'll leave that loose in there. And we also received chrome-plated window frame itself. And that's very nice there. The window retainer, large gear, hinge retainer, small gear, the geared arm, AM01, AM02, AM03, and AM04 screws. We received a spare screw with each, so there's 3, 3, 5, and 3. Let's get started. So for step 1, we actually put the hinge onto the door. I put a washcloth down so I don't scratch up the paint, and we simply just put this down just like in that fashion. If you look here, you can see how that's shaped. You want to have that facing the outboard side, so that's going to go on just like that. And then we put our retainer in. Our retainer is going to hold everything in place, and press that down. And you can see how that looks after it's pressed down. To help it along, I like to use my Vaseline. Just a little bit will do you. And my AM02 into that. And that's nice and tight there. It looks good. You can actually see how it's spring-loaded. Next we put our large gear in place, and you can see it has a large step up there and a smaller one on this side. And the deepest one needs to be facing down up against it. So once again, we're going to be putting a screw in the metal here, and I'm going to go ahead and lubricate the shaft a little bit too. Deepest part is down, and you can see it says up on the gear, so that's an indicator it needs to be up. That's good. We use an AM02 screw. And that's tight, and the gear spin. Next we put our chrome window frame. We mount that on here next, and that simply mounts down just like that up against the frame. And if you noticed on the frame itself, it has an R right there in the middle telling us it's the right side. And I'm going to lubricate those holes. Then I'm going to push it back down in place. Looks good there. We use AM03 screws for this, and these are the smaller chrome screws. 3 of them go in. And all the screws are in there. You can see there. Looks good. Now I install the small gear, but before I do, I want to lubricate the shaft and the hole for the screw. That goes down just like that. Another silver AM03 screw goes into that to hold it in place. Next I put in the gear arm. Now on the gear arm itself, it has large teeth and small teeth. You can kind of see that. The small teeth correspond with the small gear and the large teeth correspond with the large teeth. So you want to see where it says an R is facing out. We're going to put that right down on that. I want to go ahead and lubricate this again. Everything in here will be nicely lubricated. So I'm going to lubricate those bars that stick up, and then so everything slides back and forth very nicely inside. So once again, large teeth for the large gear, small teeth for the small gear. I need to go all the way aft with it, just like that. Oops. And looks like they're engaged there. You can see that, how that looks. I got it pushed all the way back. Make sure that your small gear is not too tight so everything moves back and forth. That looks good. And this time AM04 screws go into this. And that is good there. And next we put in the window, and that goes into this channel here. And this holds everything in place. I'm going to go ahead and lubricate the holes. And I'm going to make it even with the top of the window frame on top there. Set this down on top, just like that. AM01 screws go into this. This is the first car I built that actually has operating windows. Very nice. And you can see how that works. Nice. And that completes stage 9. Stay tuned for stage 10. And here's the parts pack for stage 10. And we have all the interior parts for the door. So I'll go ahead and take these out and we'll get a closer look. And here's a close-up of the parts. Everything is plastic here. Here's the driver's door trim surround, and that's nicely detailed there. It is. The trim itself is painted red like the car, and there's your latch mechanism for the door itself. Very nice. and the driver's door trim panel itself that snaps in on the outside there. What's very nice is how the chrome is protected here in this blister pack. So these are the chrome finisher pieces, lower and upper, along with your door handles, the door handle and the window regulator handle. We've got AM01 and AG04 screws. Let's get started. The first thing we'll do is we'll install this door handle here, and it does have a tab to align it. It only goes in one way, so I'll take and do that, and that goes in just like that. Turn this over, and we put the smaller AG04 screw that came with this pack. And that locked it in. Looks good. Next we'll bring the door over, because we're going to put the outer surround panel on that, and that's this right here. It simply just goes down over the outside of it, just like that. And there's 3 spots that get screwed in here. So like I said, I'm going to use my Vaseline, lubricate the holes. And put the surround panel back down on top. 3 AM01 screws go into it. And you can't really see that from that angle, but it's very easy to do. Right there. And they're all in. You can see a close-up of the 3 screws I just put in. Next, the door panel simply snaps in place, and you can see they go in 2 spots right there and then 2 on top. So I'm going to insert it on the bottom first and then snap it down on top. There you have it. That looks very nice there. Next, the door handle snaps in place, and it also goes in only one way. There it is. And that snapped in. And we put in the shorter trim piece on top. And it's obviously you want to have the longer end towards the back of the door with the shorter end, and that just snaps in place very nicely. That's good there. And then the longer trim piece on the bottom here. And it only goes in one way. And that just snaps in very tightly. And that's all we do for stage 10. Great, this was very fun to build. And the window rolls up and down. Very cool. Stay tuned for stage 11. Welcome back. Here's the parts pack for stage 11. This time we do the passenger door, And this is going to go together very similar to the driver's door. So let me take these out and we'll get a closer look. And here's the passenger door, and very nicely painted. Great finish there. Here's the inside where we'll install all the window mechanism stuff, so that's very cool there. The door is made out of metal, and we have our plastic door handle, and we're going to screw that on next. We also got AGO4 screws. And just like before, I'm going to go ahead and insert the door handle into this. It slides in kind of at an angle, has an alignment tab, and goes in flush. We put one AGO4 screw into this. And try not to over tighten it. That is good there. And that looks fantastic. Door handle is installed. That completes stage 11. Stay tuned for stage 12. Welcome back. Here's the parts pack for stage 12. And just like we did earlier, we have all the internal parts for the windshield or the window to go up and down. And I'll go ahead and take these out. We'll get a closer look and we'll begin. And here's a close-up of the parts from stage 12. The only part that's metal once again is the hinge, and it's nicely painted. Looks very good there. We have the window frame, the window itself, the large gear, small gear, window retainer, hinge retainer, geared arm, and AM01 screws, AM02, AM03, and AM04 screws. Let's get started. And just as before, we'll go ahead and put the hinge in place here. I put a washcloth down to protect the parts. And like I did before, this part here, this notch, is going to be facing outboard, like that. And I'll put it in the groove there. Put the hold down bracket down. Hold that in place. And that looks good there. Use my Vaseline to lubricate the hole where the screw goes into. Doesn't need much. And we put an AM02 screw into this. That is good there. Looks great. It should have a little tension on it. It does. Good. And we're going to put the big gear in next. So I'm going to take and lubricate everything here. All the holes will get lubricated. All the moving parts with all the moving parts are going to get Vaseline around them. Okay. So just as before, we take the part that has the large section sticking out, but it actually says up on this side, so of course that goes up. AM02 goes into this. And it still spins. Next I put the window frame in. That just slots in there. Hold it in place. I'll put the center one in first here. It's an AM03 screw. And that's what that looks like so far. Put the small gear in. One more AM03 screw. Be careful you don't over tighten this one because it will cause the gear to bind up. That's good there. Now we put our gear arm in, and just like before we have small teeth versus large teeth. The small teeth go on the small gear and the large teeth go on the big gear. AM04 screws go into this, 2 of them. There's one. Take our glass out. And it simply slides down right in there. And once it's slid in place, we'll put the hold down on it. Put one screw in. That's an AM01 screw. And the other side. And that's good there. Everything seems to work fine here. Looks good. And that completes stage 12. We have operated windows that go up and down. Very cool feature for this car. I'm enjoying this a whole lot. A lot of fun building this. So stay tuned for stage 13. Welcome back to stage 13. Now we have the door panels that we're going to install on the passenger door. So let me get these parts out and we'll get a closer look and we'll get started. I'll be right back. And here's a close-up of those parts for stage 13. This is the passenger door surround, and it's made of plastic, very nicely painted around the edges for the door. And also the door latch mechanism is painted silver. That's a very nice touch. And then we have the passenger door trim panel, which snaps in place just like the other one. We have the chrome bits here, chrome finishers, upper and lower, along with the window crank and door handle, AM01 and AM04 screws. Let's get started. First thing we do is we install the door handle on the outer panel, and it does have a keyway, so it only goes in one way. Insert that in like that, flip it over, and I will put in the smaller AG04 screw into this. Try not to over tighten it. When it's tight, should be good. That looks good there. Next, bring over the door itself, lay it down on a washcloth to protect it, and they're going to put the outer door panel in. I already pre-lubricated the holes. There's 3 of them that need to go into this to hold this panel down. These are AM01 screws. And that's how that looks there. All 3 screws are in. Next we put on the outer door panel, and that's going to snap in place. Line it up on the bottom, press it on the top. That looks good there. And we'll put our door handle in next, the window crank. It has a keyway, it only goes in one way. And that should raise and lower the window. Very good. And lastly, we put in our trim. And with the trim we have a longer bit in the back versus a shorter bit up front. And we just press that in. Looks good. And the longer trim, we need to make sure everything lines up, which it does. It only goes in one way. It only lines up one way. If you flip it around, it won't line up correctly. Okay. So make sure it lines up. Press fit it in. It's December here in West Virginia, and we hit nearly 70 degrees today. Crazy weather. Crazy tornadoes going on in the Midwest. Devastating tornadoes, as a matter of fact. Well, there we go. And that completes stage 13. The window goes up and down very nicely. Stay tuned for stage 14. Welcome back. Here's the parts pack for stage 14. We get to start on the seats, and this looks very nice indeed. So give me a chance to take this out and then we'll get started. And here's a close-up of the parts. This is the seat back itself. It's made of plastic, and that's what that looks like. And then we have the seat cushion itself, the back cushion. It does have a cushion effect to it if you push on it. Very nice there. Let's get started. And this is very simple here. We simply just push it in place. There is an alignment tab here on the bottom, and that just goes straight down on the back there. And push it down, and that is it. That's how that looks. That completes stage 14. Stay tuned for stage 15. And welcome back to the final stage for pack 2. This is stage 15. This time we received the seat bottom, cushion assembly, and a tire. So give me a chance to take these out and we will get a closer look at these. I'll be right back. And here's a close-up of those parts. We have the foam for the seat bottom. Very nice there. We also have the seat cushion frame and the cover itself. This would be the frame and this would be the cover. The instructions tell you the opposite, but that's no big deal. And here's our tire, our first tire. I'm excited. Can't wait till we get to build the spokes off of this. I noticed that we actually assemble the spoked wheels for this, so that should be a lot of fun. Let's get started. To begin, we put the cushion in here on the bottom. Fits in there just like that. And then we fit the frame to that. And that's going to insert over the top just like that. And that's how that looks. Now I need to bring over the seat back. And with the seat back in place, we will make sure we install this seat bottom into the seat back. Make sure the part here with the ridges goes towards the back. And that should be it once it presses down in there. Very good. And you notice we have cushion effect with the seat back. We don't do anything with the tire in this stage. That'll be a little bit later. But that completes stage 15, which is the final stage for pack 2. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me get the parts that we've assembled so far and we'll conclude this video. And this completes pack 2, where we assembled both the passenger door and the driver's door. This would be the driver's door. We completely assembled it inside and out, and it really is a beauty. Along with the passenger door, same thing. A lot of fun building these. First time I've actually assembled a door that has moving windows, and we assembled one of the chairs, one of the seats, and we got a tire. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for all notifications. Head over to agoramodels.com and subscribe to this car today. It's brand new. If you subscribe now, you'll be able to build along with me. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care.